Good evening. It is 6:30 p.m. and I would like to call to order the December 21st, 2022 regular board meeting of the Niles, Maine District Library Board to order. Margaret, please call the roll.
It's okay, Margaret. It's okay.
Trustee Derblick?
Here.
Trustee Schoenfeld is absent with prior notice. Trustee Makula?
Here.
Trustee Rosansky?
Here.
Trustee Olson?
Here.
And Trustee Keene?
Here.
Okay, thank you, Margaret.
Breathe.
Item 3 on the agenda
Breathe.
is the Pledge of Allegiance. Could we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I will reiterate rules for our board meeting. As board president and presiding
Point of
officer-
order.
Your point of order is denied. As board president and presiding officer, it is my responsibility to preserve and maintain decorum at all times during official meetings of the library board. As such, the board will not tolerate outbursts and interruptions during our meetings. I am asking that each member of the public respect that and to conduct yourself accordingly. If, on the other hand, you do interfere with the orderly conduct of the meeting or you persist in disorderly, disruptive conduct, I will have you removed from the meeting. Any conduct which interrupts the consideration of library district business is considered disruptive, including but not limited to shouting out, clapping, snapping, hissing, etc. during the meeting. Public participation and comment will be permitted during the public comment portion of the agenda consistent with the library rules. Remarks shall be made from the speaker's podium only. Abusive and profane comments will not be permitted and will promptly be ruled out of order. If you persist, you will no longer be allowed to speak. The board vests in me as the board president the authority to terminate the remarks of speakers who fail to adhere to the rules. Individuals addressing the board must at all times adhere to the library policies and other rules as may be necessary for the efficient and orderly conduct of the meeting. All public comments shall be addressed to the board as a whole, and no comments shall be addressed to individual members of the board, library staff, or other members of the public body. Thank you. Okay, Cindy, please call the first person for public comments.
Elliot Osherman.
Good evening, Board. Before I start my public comments, I'd like to wish the members of the Board a happy holiday season. I've been charged with deliveries for the evening. Unfortunately, Santa has given me the naughty list. I have to distribute alphabetically. In order, therefore, there are bags for Derblick, for Makula, and for Schoenfeld.
Excuse me, Mr. Osterman, you are not allowed to directly speak to the board members. Please refrain
I'm
from this
addressing the
type of, please refrain from these public comments as according to our policy.
He's not speaking to you.
I'm speaking about you, ma'am.
You are not to, your public comments are not to be addressed to any individual person on the board or to adhere to them or try to infer to them.
I'll get
He's
to that in a
not.
moment,
Just
ma'am.
let him talk.
Okay. Deliver with heartfelt emotion from the community for your efforts this past year. Please feel free to display and share the contents. This is, as you have guessed, Elliot Osherman of the Committee Against the Retention of the Three Snoozes. As usual, I have given a copy of these comments to your Executive Director for copying and distribution so you can follow along. My expectation is that you will follow along. As usual, I'm directing the comments to the entirety of the board. I am glad to see you will be swearing in Umair later this evening, thus making the board entire again. As usual, I will neither be silenced nor interrupted, nor will the community. I will remember this, as will the community. I will vote on April 4th, 2023 for restoration of our library, as will the community. The gist of my comments tonight relates to vocabulary. As in the past, I have educated you as to hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is saying one thing and then doing another. For example, if an individual indicates to the citizens of the community that he feels trustees should be limited to one term, submits a petition asking for a referendum on that issue, is elected, then announces for re-election. Oh, by the way, I won't name that individual, but I'm sure you know his name. That's hypocrisy in action. But let us remind the community of comments from that individual, from a letter to the editor just before the November election. He indicated that if a given person was running for a second or subsequent term, the voting community should consider how effective that person had been in fulfilling the responsibilities of the office. Consider the havoc wreaked by the letter writer during his term in office. I would insist it's a time to vote no on the hypocrite. We need to restore our library. Similarly, hypocrisy is emphasizing the belief that Robert's Rules of Order should be followed in running the board meetings, then not following the responsibilities, privileges, and obligations imposed by those rules. Among other examples of this hypocrisy is ignoring calls for the order of the day, is ignoring points of order as raised by trustees and not listening to those points of order, of not putting items on the agenda, though several trustees have requested items on multiple occasions, of not accepting requests for items for new business for consideration. Won't name this hypocrite either. I don't think I need to name her. It's time to note her hypocrisy. We need to restore our library. Finally, I'd like to extend a very hearty welcome to the newest member. It's an action that should have been taken many months ago. Due to multiple stalling efforts by a certain hypocritical trustee mentioned above, this installation was delayed. Welcome to the Library Board and the community's effort to restore our library. Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve Sanders.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Sanders, he, him. This evening, you will swear in the seventh trustee. Umair will finally be able to join this board, in spite of continued obstruction by other members of this library board. It is time for this board to get some productive work done. First and foremost, you must rescind this disastrous year-and-a-half-long temporary hiring freeze. The library staff needs to build back the institutional knowledge that was lost during this board's tenure. This library continues to hemorrhage dedicated employees. This last year, we lost 22 librarians, on top of the 18 that left in 2021. None of these people were replaced. It is a shame that all of that institutional knowledge walked out the door. These losses come while the library's usage continues to rise. Compared to last year, library visits are up by 10%. Staff-mediated spaces and services are up by more than 50%. And visits to homebound patrons are up by 15%, just to name a few. These are all services that require support from librarians. Our librarians don't just file books. They educate the patrons that avail themselves of the library's services. Recently, I have been using the 3D printer, something I would not have been able to dabble in if the library didn't offer this service. The advice and instruction I received from digital services was amazing. They were able to give me pointers, introduce me to new programs, and teach me how to use them. This level of personal advice could never have been provided through a tutorial video. Now that you have a full and reasonable board, I call on you to rescind this disastrous hiring freeze implemented in May of last year. Give our librarians a chance to rebuild what has been taken down. The $7 that you saved me because of these disastrous cuts is not worth the cost to our community library. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Renee Sutherland.
Hello, my name is Renee Sutherland, and my pronouns are she and her. I'm an organizer with the Niles Coalition. Our Save Now's Library campaign is made up of concerned community members and patrons who are fighting against the bigoted neoliberal attack on our library by Trustees Derblick, Schoenfeld, and Mikula. We are united in our mission to defend our public institutions, such as the Niles Main District Library, and bring to you these collective demands. Fulfill your duties and swear in Umair Qadeer to the vacant seat on the Board of Trustees so that we have a fully functional and democratic board. End the malicious hiring freeze that is causing so much hardship for our staff. Expedite a contract with the Niles Main District Library Union to ensure that the staff has protections they deserve and attract the talented professionals to backfill empty staff positions. Trustees Derblick, Schoenfeld, and Mikula must resign immediately and be replaced by library advocates who will uphold the public's trust. It is time for you to step down. We would like to inform this entire board of our gratitude to the following groups for their contributions to our campaign. Pro-library trustees Becky Keene, Olson, and Rosansky, who have dedicated themselves to resisting this attack on the Niles Main District Library, the library staff who have continued to come to work and provide services to the community despite facing a belligerent faction on this board, elected officials who have worked to protect libraries from hostile right-wing privatizers, our organizer allies who have provided solidarity in this fight, the journalists who have diligently covered the events at the library in the face of communication blackouts instituted by the board president, and community members who have helped spread the word about our campaign to their friends and neighbors. We are grateful for the support and efforts of these individuals, and we will continue to show up as long as there is even one anti-library trustee on this board. All power belongs to the people.
Thank you.
Phil Ash.
Good evening, everyone. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays to everyone who celebrates. My name is Phil Ash, and my pronouns are he, him. I'm a 10-year resident of Niles and a teacher at Maine East High School. I've been watching the proceedings of this board with interest since 2021, and it's my hope that our newly seated board member will help break the deadlock and the infighting. My 10,000-foot perspective on the issues surrounding this board boils down to a single question. How do each of us define what a library is and how it should serve this community? On the one hand, there are people who view libraries as a pile of books with a cover on it, a cultural dinosaur that no longer needs attention or tax dollars. And on the other, there are those who consider libraries to be centers of knowledge and a vital support system for communities built to educate and serve our taxpayers with outreach, education, and support for everyone. I'd like to share my own experiences with the Maine Niles Library. My wife and I have 3 children. Our middle daughter, Lucy, was diagnosed with an ultra-rare disorder when she was just over a year old in 2014. Her disorder is so rare that at the time of her diagnosis, there was no name for it. And to the knowledge of the medical community, only 8 individuals with this disorder were known across the world. The diagnosis wasn't the hard part. It was the loneliness of it. My wife and I were devastated that we could not have a proper community of support for our daughter and for us to be able to help navigate this rare disability. It was the Maine Niles Library that helped us get our feet underneath us. In 2015, and for the next year or so, my wife and I began hosting monthly playdates for other families for disabled children. And they took place in various multi-purpose rooms right here in this library. The staff was gracious, helpful, and accommodating to the various needs of the families and their children. Moreover, the staff helped with books and resources for those families who struggled to give their children the support and help and sense of community that they needed. Maine Library also helped give me a space to expand my own education. I used the lounges on and off on weekends for 2 years to study for my master's degree because working from our loud, boisterous home wasn't always an option. In short, I've used the library as a community center to better my life and the life of my family. And the things that I've mentioned tonight will not show up in records or book circulation numbers. It's not something that Amazon.com could have assisted me with. My point in speaking this evening is to reiterate that libraries are special places who serve many for different reasons. They need our support. I think of my students at Maine East tonight. we're getting ready to go on winter break, but there are a number of students who winter break is not always a celebration. It's a struggle to find food and comfort. Sometimes they need safe, brave spaces to learn and just be kids. And sometimes home can't be that option. Sometimes churches, synagogues, mosques cannot be that space. Secular community centers are necessary for teens, adults, senior citizens, everyone. It is libraries that provide that need. That is why areas such as the Teen Underground, outreach to seniors, and schools are so vital. Their existence gives support for those who need it when senior centers, schools, home, and the internet aren't enough. Recently, my visits to this library have been admittedly sporadic. Life changes for us all, but I will gladly continue to pay my taxes to help support this library and community center, not just for myself and my family, but for everyone in Niles, Maine area. And I encourage everyone else to do the same and feel the same empathy. I hope that this newly 7-member board will help break deadlocks, end the staff hiring freeze, and restore this library to the beacon of light that it is for our Niles and Maine Township area. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Kate Levinson.
I'm a little choked up. I really appreciate that. That was a really beautiful statement. I was here in 2015, and that means a lot. Hello. My name is Kate Levinson. My pronouns are she, her. I'm excited and honored to welcome Trustee Qadeer to the Board of Trustees. We missed you a lot. I've worked in KidSpace for 13 years, and I'm a member of the union bargaining team. I want to keep this short, and I want to be very clear. This workforce, my union kinfolk, are tired of the drama. We are still here because we're dedicated to making this library a healthy and happy place for people to learn, play, and get things done. And we're doing our part every day. We deserve leadership that practices sober deliberation, professional decision-making, and transparency. Libraries run on people power. The people who power this library deserve respect and support. We deserve a fair contract. We want fair workplace rules and wages that keep pace with inflation. This library serves a population of 59,000 people, and we can't serve that community with so little support and so much distraction. If we are to rebuild the Niles Maine District Library staff, we need to be an organization where smart, talented people actually want to work. Finally, I want to conclude with 2 requests. First, please end this destructive hiring freeze finally. And second, but actually more importantly, please encourage your side of the negotiating table to work with us toward a universally beneficial contract. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all the public comments.
Thanks, Cindy. Item 5 on the agenda is swearing in of new trustee Umair A. Qadeer. New legislation signed by Governor Pritzker on December 13th, 2022 provides the state librarian, Jesse Wright, shall appoint an individual to fill the vacancy. As directed by the Office of the Secretary of State, the Board of Trustees will facilitate the oath of office for this appointment to Umair A. Qadeer at the scheduled board meeting on December 21st, 2022. At this time, I would like to welcome Umair A. Qadeer and I believe a notary who will administer the oath of office. Maybe here? Cindy? Maybe by the camera here? Is it better?
This way they'll hear you.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, now we go to...
Please state your name
Umair Abdul Qadeer.
and repeat after me. I, Umair Abdul Qadeer,
I, Umair Abdul Qadeer,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
the Office of Library Trustee of the Niles Main District Library
the Office of Library Trustee of the Niles Main District Library
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Let's welcome Trustee Umair Qadeer.
Patty, remind him to turn on his mic. I don't know if he knows.
Okay, Becky? Yeah, I heard. Okay. I just thought I'd mention it again.
You are advised to turn on your mic when you want to speak, and also.
Okay, with respect to the trustees, I would like to read rules that govern the proceedings of the board.
Point of order,
Your point of order is denied.
which isn't surprising.
As you know, the rules of parliamentary practice comprised in Robert's Rules of Order govern the proceedings of the board. There are certain rules contained within Robert's Rules with respect to decorum. By reminding you of the rules, I hope it will lead to a more civil and productive debate, which is one of the most important concepts underlying parliamentary procedure. Robert's Rules of Order number 7, debate states speakers must address their remarks to the presiding officer, be courteous in their language and deportment, and avoid all personalities, never alluding to the officers or other members by name where possible to avoid it, nor to the motives of members. Additionally, Robert's Rules of Order number 43, Decorum in Debate, states, in debate, a member must confine himself to the question before the assembly and avoid personalities. All the trustees should refrain from disturbing the assembly, and you should encourage others to do likewise. Consistent with Robert's rules, I am asking each of the trustees to refrain from speaking until recognized, confine remarks to the merits of the pending question, not the member is the subject of debate. Address remarks through the chair. The application of Robert's rules is the best method to enable the Board of Trustees, with due regard for every member's opinion, to arrive at the general will on the maximum number of questions of varying complexity in a minimum amount of time and under all kinds of internal climate, ranging from total harmony to hardened or impassioned division of opinion. Thank you for your cooperation. Okay, number 6 on the agenda is approval of minutes. Item 6 on the agenda, or 6A, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the April 20th, 2022 regular board meeting?
So moved. I will second it since Suzanne isn't here.
Thank you.
I'd like to move that we amend the minutes to take out the president's report.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Are we going to have a discussion about the suggestion, or are we just going to take the vote?
Oh, sorry.
just curious.
It's come up so many times, I apologize. Trustee McCullough, any comments?
I'm satisfied with the way it's written.
Trustee Rosansky?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do have some comments, although it might be hard to believe. I would like to say, at the beginning of our president's regime, she stated, all trustee reports should be of a positive reflection of our library. Any negative comments should wait until the other section. And since the president's report is her trustee report, all her negative comments should be removed from the minutes. Thank you.
Trustee Olson?
Yes, I think that's a wonderful idea, and let's get these minutes updated and sent. We've done this long enough. There's no reason to drag on, Ms. President. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Keene?
No comment.
Trustee Qadeer?
No comment.
Okay, we need to take a vote on the amended motion.
Okay, so the amended motion is to move to amend the minutes to take out the president's report. Trustee Derblick?
No.
Trustee Schoenfeld is out. Trustee McCullough?
No.
Trustee Rosansky?
Yes.
Trustee Olson?
Yes.
Trustee Keene?
Yes.
Trustee Qadeer?
Since I wasn't present, I'm going to abstain.
Okay. So we're talking 3 yeses and 2 noes, 1 abstain. Motion passes.
Thank you, Margaret. Okay, item 6C, the minutes of November 16th. Do I have a motion to approve
No,
the
you
minutes?
forgot 19th, October 19th. That was B.
Thank you.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
6B, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the October 19th, 2022 regular board meeting?
So moved.
Oh, sorry, second.
Thank you.
I forgot my position.
I'd like to amend the motion to withdraw the president's report from the notes, from the minutes.
Second.
Trustee Makula.
I'm just looking, they objected because of negative,
Nobody said anything about negative. They just said they wanted to remove it. So
Oh,
please.
that was for the last set of minutes. There isn't anything negative here. They just want to remove my president's report
well,
because,
it was done, it's a fact. It was, these are
Right.
the facts of the meeting. I mean, what do you might as well throw the whole thing out and just have approved 3 blank pieces of paper.
Thank you, Joe.
excuse me, Patty.
I just said thank you.
All right, thank you, Trustee Makula. Trustee Rozansky.
Yes. I am not stating the fact that I feel the whole president's report needs to be removed because, shock of all shock, this one isn't totally negative. However, my issue here is trustee reports aren't word for word. Therefore, the president's report should not be word for word. It should be shortened and just state what she said as quickly and as neatly as possible. If they want more facts, that's what the videos are for. Thank you.
Trustee Olson.
Yes, this is word for word. It should be a summary, just like every other trustee report is a summary. Why isn't the president's? So that's what we need to do.
Trustee Keene.
No comment.
Trustee Qadeer.
I'm going to just add the comment that I agree with Trustee Rozansky that we should not have negative comments in our reports and that we should also have a consistent format for all reports. However, with respect to all these votes, because I was not present physically during those meetings and was not a trustee, I'm going to abstain from voting.
Okay, thank you. For the record, I would just like to remind the board that in the past, the president's reports have been included in word for word. In addition, I just also want to state for the record that if we remove the president's report, which was about some important issues in our community, that what we're doing is removing transparency from our process. So, Margaret, please call the roll.
It's kind of like when you take out the department heads.
Trustee Keene, you're out of order. Please refrain from disrupting the meeting.
Very transparent
Margaret,
of you.
please call the roll.
Can I clarify what you're voting on? You're voting on to summarize these president's report as opposed to moving it, as our previous discussions were, to an addendum in the back. So we're
no
moving to
addendum.
leave it here and summarize it, but the April 20th to remove completely and have no president's report.
Yes.
We voted on it, it's done.
That one is done. Yeah, no, you could have where it says President's report. President Derblick read her report. This way people know there was a report, and if they want to read it, they go to the video.
Okay.
And as far as this particular amendment or change, excuse me, I'm not used to calling her trustee. Ms. Keene made her suggestion, and she's the one who would have to tell you what hers was. If she wants to change it, it's up to her. But
We're talking about this month now. We're talking
the,
about the
for
19th.
the October meeting, yes.
Okay, the October meeting. And then these,
Excuse me, Cindy, for clarification, could Trustee Keene please repeat her amended motion
for the 19th.
so we understand what we're doing for the October 19th minutes?
The motion was to remove the president's report from the minutes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Completely?
That's what I said. If
Okay.
you want to do it differently, then you have to make another motion.
I will once it's finished, if that's not going to offend you.
No?
It shouldn't be removed, in my opinion. It should be.
Your turn's over.
At worst, it should be
You're done.
summarized.
Trustee Keene, please refrain from disrupting the meeting.
Well, then make him do it too.
Are there any more comments regarding the October 19th minutes?
just that we're voting on hers. But I personally have another amendment towards this, which I think might be a little more reasonable for both sides. I'm trying to be considerate here. And mine is, like I was stating in the beginning, positive comments only, and because all our reports are a summary, this one should also be a summary.
So is that
It
the
is
second
positive,
amendment?
this is a positive report, I'm not saying it isn't. And what she said, I give her kudos because she finally said something positive. But summarize it.
So we'll vote on Becky's motion to
First.
amend first.
And then we will
And then mine
vote
will
on
be
a
after.
second amendment? Is
Well,
that what
then
yours
I will
is?
have, then my motion will be, I'll put it up, and if it's, second and whatever, we'll vote. But there's, whatever. So I don't know. How do you want to handle this? We vote on hers
let's
because
just-
she was seconded first?
It's on the table.
Okay. President Gerbeck, can I go?
No.
President,
Okay,
what do
so-
we do?
Okay, so I'm taking the vote based on Trustee Keen's motion. Move to remove the president report from the minutes, and President Gerbeck said no. Trustee Makula?
No.
Trustee Rozansky?
I don't feel it should be totally removed. I'm sorry. So no.
So no, okay. Trustee Olson?
No.
Trustee Keen?
Yes.
And Trustee Qadeer, you're going to?
Abstain.
Abstain, yes. Thank you so much. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 abstain, 4 noes, 1 yeses, so it fails.
So are you going to make a second amendment?
I'm going to make another when she's ready to listen to my motion. My motion is, like I say, not word for word. We can put President's report like it's always there, read by, if you want to put like you always put, read by President Carolyn Derblick, and then take her statement and summarize it, such as you could put, what was I thinking? She said she noticed some of the library programs. One program that comes to mind is the one by the Niles Township assessor, and she had his name as Scott Begnell. The informational program was well received, and she would like to suggest a similar program in the future. To me, that's summarizing it, but it's getting what she said, basically, the gist of it out there.
Okay.
So it will be to
I
move to
second those
summarize
for
President Gerblick's report. And Trustee Olson, you second?
seconded
Yes, I
her
got it.
amendment.
Thank you so much. And I am ready anytime.
Discussion?
Oh, yes, just,
Discussion? President? Any more discussion?
Yes, sorry.
Are we voting
Trustee-
specifically on the wording that Patty just brought up? Or what?
Yes.
That was the
No.
motion I
Yes, a
made,
summary.
yes.
Oh,
She
okay.
wants to
Well, the
summarize
motion was
and
to
put it-
summarize.
Do you want to add another sentence in
Right?
there? or-
No,
No.
it's a summary, that doesn't mean we add more to it.
Okay, Trustee Makula, what was the sentence you were considering?
Would be either the one before the last or the last
Could
sentence.
you read it, please?
Yes.
So we can,
In our effort to increase patron attendance and borrowings, in-library programs are key. Utilizing local professionals and experts to share their knowledge with library patrons would provide interesting and unique programs. That's positive, and it's the direction we should be going.
And it's not what it was stated in the minutes.
Well, it's
Oh, it
what
is
she
in the
said.
minutes.
We're trying to change it.
Well, whatever.
It-
Okay,
It
thank
doesn't
you.
make it that much longer.
Thank you.
Well, we have to vote on Patty's motion first.
Yes, my motion first. Because that's what is up.
So
Are
you-
we doing the discussion? Let them discuss. It's fine, because then we'll do the vote after.
Do you want to modify your motion to add that?
Oh, heck no. Why would I make the motion in the first place?
Well,
Thank you for the suggestion, though.
okay.
Trustee Rosansky?
I don't think I need to say any more than I already have. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure doing business with you.
Trustee Olson?
I would like to hear the motion, and then I could say yes or no. But it's specifically, what is the motion?
Okay.
What
way
is
you
the-
have it
what
worded.
is the wording?
Trustee Rosansky, do you
No.
want to read it?
Margaret is going to read what she heard.
Trustee Rosansky moved to summarize President Derblick's report.
That's all you
Okay.
have?
That's all I
That's fine.
have.
Okay,
Are we
okay,
gonna
then I'll
leave-
then I'll reread it.
All right.
What I had stated was,
Well, we don't really need an example of a summary. We're just trying to get the motion that you want it summarized.
yes, I want it summarized. If you
Okay.
guys
If you
want to
don't like the way we summarize it next month, you don't have to pass
But I want
it.
it summarized.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so
Trustee
the
Olson?
motion is to have it summarized, so I agree with that, yes.
Trustee Keene?
No comment.
Trustee Qadeer?
I'm going to abstain again.
Thank you. Margaret, please call the roll.
Trustee Derblick?
Yes.
Trustee Makula?
Yes.
Trustee Rosansky?
Yes, thank you.
Trustee Olson?
Yes.
Trustee Keene?
No.
And Trustee Qadeer?
Abstain.
Thank you. 4 yeses, 1 no, 1 abstain, passes.
Thank you. Okay, the next. 6C, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the November 16th, 2022 regular board meeting?
So moved.
Second,
Thank you. Trustee Makula, any comments?
I have no comments, and it's acceptable to me as it is.
Trustee Rosansky?
no comments.
Trustee Olson?
We're on November 16th.
No, I see. No.
Trustee Keene?
Very nice job on these. Thank you. It was really well worded and well written and succinct.
Trustee Qadeer?
No comment.
Thank you. I do have a comment regarding page 10, and it is 10G. The statement that was written regarding what I said, President Derblick inquired what Supervisor Arian Carey needed. I listened to the video, and my statement was not that. It was a couple of sentences that were generalizing her two departments. And if those two sentences were too lengthy, I'd rather have some of that information than this, because this was not a direct statement from me to Supervisor Carey.
An inquiry is a question, not a statement.
So since this isn't my statement, I'm asking that it not be included and that we listen to the minutes and just get the statement more closely to what I did state.
As long as it's summarized and we get to approve it next month, I have no problem with that.
Okay, thank you, Patty.
I am not happy with the next sentence, further discussion regarding the matter ensued, because that tells us nothing. Either a summary or just a quick review of the entire statement. And what was the discussion about? Was there a discussion? I don't remember.
Not really.
No.
It was more like an argument.
Yes, it was more like an argument.
Right.
I agree with that.
We were trying to be diplomatic.
We can clarify the argument.
I don't feel it's necessary to put an argument in the minutes, but, whatever floats your boat.
Okay, I think we're on Trustee Olson, correct? Patty, are you, Trustee Rosansky, you're finished?
Whatever. Go ahead. Are you finished?
I would just like you to look at it, listen to the tape again, and then change this to better reflect what happened. That's all, if not.
Yeah. So in other words, review it next month.
Trustee Keene? Thank you, Trustee Elson.
No further comments.
Trustee Qadeer?
Perhaps instead of discussion, we could say vehement discussion or spirited discussion if we want to not use the word argument. That's my only comment.
That's a very nice suggestion.
Thank you. So the motion on the table then is to approve these minutes. So we'll deny the minutes because you'll review them? Or
We need to vote.
Should we
But
then have?
that's what she's asking. What is the
So-
actual vote going to
Well,
be?
if we go back to the trustee manual, the procedure is that if something is brought up, the video is reviewed. If it was said, it is added. So you either vote for it to be approved with those changes, or you vote no, so it'll come back next month.
Okay, so I'll vote, then I'm thinking what we're saying is, I'll change the motion to review the video and summarize that section. Is that what we're
I
saying
think you
here?
have to make an amendment if you want to change the motion on the
Yeah.
table.
So,
you can figure
all right,
out how
I'll
you wanna
amend it,
amend
but the amendment would be that you would review the tape to summarize that 10G section. Does that sound in agreement with everyone?
Yes.
That's how the procedure should go. I agree with that.
I'm sorry?
I said I agree with, that is how the procedure needs to go, yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so let's just review the manual. It says, a motion to approve board minutes is moved and seconded. Corrections to board meeting minutes are presented. The secretary will verify the corrections on the video and enter the changes in the minutes. These corrected board minutes will be approved at the next board meeting.
Okay. So what do we do
So
with
we
the
don't
motion?
have specific corrections, but the direction is to go back and look at the video and summarize it better.
Right, because I'm saying that statement was not my statement. So is that what we're all focusing on here?
Well, and Diane's comments as well. She wants the video reviewed.
I got it. No, I agree. So back to the motion. So what do we
And
do?
then we leave it up to you to change it as you see fit, and you'll bring it back next month.
Right.
Okay,
I mean,
that's fine.
you can bring corrections to the meeting if there's something that is missing.
Yes, we understand that.
Okay.
So are we voting this, we're voting not to pass this?
You're voting. I'm not telling you how to vote.
No, in order for you to go back and review the video, is the motion, I need to change the motion?
No,
mean,
you're
No,
not.
you
The
just
motion
need
is
to
to
say
pass
no.
the minutes as they are.
Right, so we're voting no, and they won't be passed as they are, and then you will automatically review the video. I'm just trying to figure out
Right,
what steps
right.
we need to take so you can move in that direction.
Right.
Okay, so, Margaret, please call the roll.
Trustee Drblick,
No.
Trustee Makula,
No.
Trustee Rozansky,
As far as the way they stand, no.
Trustee Olson,
No,
Trustee Keene,
Yes.
Trustee Qadeer.
Abstain.
Thank you.
Thank you.
4 noes, 1 yes, and 1 abstain. Fails.
Item 7 is payment of the bills. Do I have a motion to approve operating expenses of $214,419.15, payroll expenses of $205,956.87, for a total monthly expense of $420,376.02?
So moved.
I guess I'm seconding again.
Thanks, Patty. Trustee Rozansky.
Either way, I answer to both.
Okay, Trustee Makula, do you have any comments?
I went through all the bills, and these are the numbers I come with. I'm in agreement with them.
Trustee Rozansky?
Yes, I have a comment, or I should say a question for Cindy. Has the situation with our bank account been resolved?
Excuse me, but is that a conversation we shouldn't have in an open meeting?
I have a question pertaining to that, and if we are voting to, pay the bills, that we are voting to pay them when our bank situation is resolved.
Exactly, and
that is what I'm asking.
Okay.
Excuse me, I don't automatically accept your version of the truth.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking the person we put in charge.
Trustee Rosansky, the library's bank situation is not a topic for an open meeting. However, we're voting that when the situation is resolved, and if you need
I
a
didn't say
detailed,
what the situation was.
if you need a detailed explanation, the director can definitely talk to you after the meeting. We're just approving that this amount of money will be paid because we validated these expenses. But I think a deeper conversation should not take place in an open meeting. I mean that just because there's certain issues that shouldn't be discussed in a public meeting.
I didn't say what the situation was, just there was a situation.
What did he say?
There's no exception for that.
No exception. The situation is resolved
Good, that's all I need, thank you.
and checks are ordered.
Thank you.
I can let you know that I signed off on, and so did Susan Schoenfeld, on every bill that was due to be paid.
For once, you signed every check. I'm proud of you, man. Way to go.
No checks.
Oh, just whatever he did, that he said he signed.
Signed the
Approved every
invoices.
invoice.
Yeah.
Initialed.
Trustee Olson,
No comment.
Trustee Keene.
Yes, I know, Cindy, you already explained to me why there weren't any legal fees included in this month's documents, but if you could just summarize that for the public to know why there is no legal fees this month. It's because we haven't received anything from Kleinthorpe and Jenkins this month, correct? And then
It came after the deadline, and
Okay.
then Clark Hill also, I had to request, and it came after the deadline.
Okay. So it's not because there weren't any, it's because they just didn't come in time.
Correct.
Thank you. No other comments.
Thank you. Trustee Qadeer.
I just have one question about the charge to, from Sikich LLP, and just wanted an explanation of that. Ordinarily, I would approach you before the meeting to ask, so that I didn't have to take up meeting time, but since I just joined the
I
board. it
believe
needs to
that
be so now.
invoice is for the audit.
He's
and
not
for the
asking you.
monthly
No, I'm
accounting.
He's
just
asking
asking
Cindy.
I'm asking Cindy what the charge is, to explain the charge, that's all.
Yes, that is our outside accounting firm. It
Okay.
includes the training, backup payroll for Lisi. It includes the monthly accounting services that they do, and it also includes the audit preparation.
Thank you.
So, and we have a detail sheet for that.
Understood, thank you.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, Margaret, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Derblick,
Yes?
Trustee Makula,
Yes,
Trustee Rosansky,
Yes.
Trustee Olson,
Yes.
Trustee Keene,
Yes.
Trustee Qadeer.
Yes.
Thank you.
6-0 passes.
Item 8 on the agenda is the trustees' reports.
Where did I put my trustee report?
President's report. As we approach the end of 2022, it is with gratitude and thanks that I share some of the library's accomplishments this year. The marketing department won the John Cotton Dana Award for the second time based on the Not So Haunted open house. I believe the award was $10,000. The summer lunch program, promoted by the board and made possible by dedicated staff, served local children in our area. This was contrary to some protests that did occur, unfortunately, at our library. Patron services continue to increase passport processing for our library community. The second Not So Haunted open house was very well attended. The Franklin Gallery showcased artists Aga Podzaski, Smira Bashir, and Vasil Vasilev, to name a few. The board adopted the 2022 budget in the amount of $6,646,129. We increased certain areas of spending when info supported it and anticipated a greater need. The board adopted the 2022 levy in the amount of $5 million. Due to the library's cash and investments on hand toggling around $12 million, we will more than adequately meet our total budget expenses, resulting in a decrease to taxpayers of $1,646,129. I just want to thank everyone for the year, at least for the this calendar year that is now ending, and for how they support the library and what we do for our community. Thank you. Next on the agenda is Trustees Report. Trustee McCullough, do you have anything?
No, I have no report this month.
Trustee Rosansky.
Of course I do, because I come to the library many times a month. The first comment is about the Take and Make this month. It was a 3D printer phone stand. Pretty cool, 3D printer phone stand. The Digital Library Challenge, in case you haven't seen it, is this. They are not complicated. It just helps people understand different things you can get digitally through the library card. You have to be a member of Niles Library in order to use this, but seriously, folks, you don't realize all of the benefits you can receive by using our digital online services. Please check it out. And this helps because it tells you some of the different things you can use. The winter reading program, that's the kids, oh my God. I was here this weekend and watching kids in the treasure box because they got awards for reading. Pretty cool. And I was also here over the weekend at that same time, so it actually was the same time, and I found out they were having a workshop, or not really a workshop, a program, I would rather say, on using infusion scents like lavender and so on, and the benefits you can receive health-wise. Pretty cool. Workshop on pet silhouettes. Did that yesterday. I am so impressed with myself, and it really wasn't difficult. It's all done on the computer, people. If you see it, please come with your photos. And what else? There's so many things I did. Knitwits is cool. We actually had our ugly sweater contest party on Monday. There's so many fun things at this library. Please do not hesitate to come in and check it out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Trustee Olson?
Yes, thank you for the various activities that are illustrated in the highlights report that you have here. As usual, monthly activities in this library are astounding, as you just heard Ms. Rosansky say. I just want to mention I'm looking forward to working with our complete board now, our 7 people, as we all work together now to strive to rebuild our community and our library. I hope so. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Olson. Trustee Keene?
First, I'd like to welcome Trustee Qadeer to the board. Very glad to have you here. And I'd like to thank all the staff. It's really nice to see your smiling faces when I come in. It makes me feel really good to see you all when I come in and you're smiling and happy to see us. So thank you for that. And just happy holidays to everyone. And I hope you can enjoy the next few days off. Thank you.
Trustee Qadeer?
I just want to say thank you again to the staff for doing everything you have been able to do despite your lowered numbers, and we support you. And we'll definitely try to make things more smooth for you in every way that we can.
Thank you. I just wanted to add a couple comments as a trustee instead of as the president. I would like to commend Adult Services staff, Karen, Wynn, Eileen, and Mary Kay, for their participation in the thorough outreach training for future implementation. Also would like to commend Wynn, Mary Ellen, Stacy, and Mary Kay for their cross-training of collections and adult services. I would like to thank all of the library staff for their dedication in serving our community, particularly at the Vet Celebration event and the annual staff Thanksgiving donation to the Niles Family Services last month. Thank you.
That's what I forgot.
Okay, next on the agenda is number 9, the Director's Report.
Treasurer's report.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
you forgot-
Oh, my God. Sorry, Trustee McCullough. All right, sorry, my mistake. Next is the Treasurer's Report. Trustee McCullough.
Okay. November is the 5th month of our budget year. We received $18,223 in income. Since the property taxes are delayed, we will probably have a substantial amount of income coming in for this month of December as people pay their taxes. At the close of the month, we had $11,604,754 in cash and investments. Salaries for November were $212,505, and employee fringe benefits were $45,761, for a total of $258,266. We had purchases of $49,866 in new library materials in November. Total purchases since July are $275,293 for this budget year. Library operating expenses for November were $18,384. General and administrative expense was $29,049. Utility costs for November were $3,955. Building and equipment maintenance was $16,233. We had equipment purchases of $26,667. $667 from special reserves. Total expenditures for November were $420,376. Total expenditures for this budget year are $2,136,309.
All right, thank you, Trustee McCullough. Number 9, the Director's Report.
Wait, I just have one question.
Oh, sorry.
On page 32, okay, I just need an explanation of what collection services and then 472,800%. What is, explain, I don't get that.
It's how much, the percentage, it tells you how much of this year's budget has been
But
spent.
is that correct?
There, a lot of times it is high, real high on some and below on others, so it might be. Joe would know best.
What's that?
She's questioning. Could you
On-
repeat
on the
that?
collection-
There was nothing budgeted for that line item,
And that's why it's so high.
so I'll go back and check on that and see, because we're not using a collection agency, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't know
Unless
what-
it was
I
a
don't understand.
past, someone
Okay.
paid and we received funds or something.
Wasn't collection for people that hadn't paid fines?
Exactly, yeah, and we suspended that with
Yeah.
COVID, so.
We have no fines.
So there's no budget there, and so I'll go back and check on that number. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for noticing that.
Okay, Trustee Keene, did you have anything?
No comment.
Trustee Qadeer?
No comments.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for mentioning it, but no.
Okay, number 9, Director's Report. Director Rademacher, should we just, did you have anything to add, or should I just go through the trustees with questions? It's up to you.
I'd just like to welcome Trustee Qadeer to the board as well. And I don't actually,
Thank you.
just wanted to remind everybody that we will be closed Friday and Monday. And as the weather turns out, it might be a good thing after all, right? To be
Yes.
closed on Friday. And also, Patty, you mentioned about the digital reading club, so it's a great thing to do. When the building is closed, the library is still open 24/7, so there are lots of streaming services and ebooks and
It
other
expires January 3rd.
other things that you can get from the website to stay connected and entertain yourself if you're snowed in. So I just wanted to mention that. It's been a busy month. Lots of interesting episodes. So I have to say I don't really have a lot to add. I will answer questions, of course.
All right, thank you. Trustee Makula?
No, I have no questions for.
Trustee Rosansky?
Not at this point.
Trustee Olson?
I'm looking.
I said this.
I'm happy to see the increase in loan material, both digital and physical, and yeah. Happy to see those numbers. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Trustee Keene?
Yes, I would like to reiterate what one of the public comments was, that the in-person visits is up 9.2%, so we really shouldn't hear any trustees saying that visits are down, because that's not true. Also, I noticed when going through the program report that last year at this time, we had 116 programs, and this year we only had 67 programs. So that's like half almost. And that is most likely due to us not having staff to put them on. What I also read, a couple of things in this one with the pictures, the part I read about the nitwits needing help with finishing a baby blanket, and then another new member is a person that is hard of hearing. She came to Nitwits needing help with finishing a baby blanket. She completed the project and is now teaching the group sign language. That's a wonderful story. That's exactly what the library is about, helping each other and helping yourself. And that is not a measurable piece of data.
Absolutely.
So take that, don't just, that should really be taken into consideration. That's not something that you're going to find on a form. And it's a really good thing to hear. I loved that. Something I didn't know about that was happening at the library, that there was a professional headshot event. I don't know that I would have attended it, but every month when I read these, I find out about things that I didn't know were happening, and that is an honest shame, because I'm sure if it's happening to me, who is more knowledgeable about what's going on here than some other people, that other people are missing out on things too. And that is probably because they're not in the thing that gets sent home. So I really think that we need to beef up that flyer that goes home again, so that people know what is going on here.
Yes.
Good.
Chapter 1, you're saying.
Thank you.
And thank you for mentioning that about Nitwits. I've been there, and I didn't even think to mention it, because it's just happening, and that's it. So thank you.
Okay, Trustee Qadeer.
I want to reiterate what Trustee Keene said, that, we should definitely make a strong effort to try to convey as many of the different programs that are going on to the public as we can. I know I've spoken to my neighbors, and, when I talk about certain programs that the library holds, they're very excited that, oh, wow, I didn't realize that. I have a neighbor who's in her probably late 90s who was asking me about some of the senior services and so on and so forth that we, at least in the past, had been offering. And so those are the kinds of things that I'd love to see that information as widely accessible as possible.
All right, thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is 10A. Do I have a motion to authorize Director Rademacher to pursue the new library credit card with the Fifth Third Government Commercial Division credit card program, which is more advantageous? This card has an annual fee of $250.
So moved.
I will second it.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Makula, any comments?
I believe our other card is not accepting commercial accounts after the end of the year. Is that correct?
No, the issue with that was that Amazon is no longer honoring the corporate account service that they had where they would bill us. So we're going to have to use the credit card that we do have on Amazon. The advantage of the Fifth Third card is that it does not require a personal guarantee. So since I am the personal guarantor, I am not happy and would prefer not to have that kind of a credit card. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Rosansky.
No comment.
Trustee Olson.
Is $250 the fee that's, is that a normal?
Well, the fee, if we would have charges, I guess, flowing through of $350,000, there would be no fee. So I'm told actually by the bank that using a credit card is much safer way to do business because it does not distribute the account numbers as widely. And as having experience with that recently, I'm seeing the point of it. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
All right, thank you, Trustee Keene.
No comment?
Trustee Qadeer.
I'm going to comment that I strongly agree with Director Rademacher that she should not have to put up any type of personal guarantee. That is not the responsibility of anyone who works for the library to take on any type of personal risk associated with library business. So I'm going to strongly support the idea that we should get a new card that does not put any employee of the library at any level in any type of, having to offer a personal guarantee of any sort. Secondly, I'm going to add that I agree with the director that we ought to charge as many things as we can to the credit card. If we can exceed that $350,000 a year amount, we have no annual fee. That's $250 saved. That's an easy amount. So anyone who will accept a credit card and not add a surcharge to it, we should charge those things as much as we can.
Thank you. Fifth Third does offer a service where they will, analyze our vendors and tell us who will accept them. So makes it a little easier.
That's good. Okay, thank you. Margaret, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Drblick,
Yes.
Trustee Makula,
Yes.
Trustee Rosansky,
Yes.
Trustee Olson,
Yes.
Trustee Keene,
Yes.
Trustee Qadeer.
Yes.
Yep, 6-0 passes.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is 10B. Do I have a motion to approve an extension of Dave Dabrowski's temporary position as Interim Maintenance Specialist for up to 18 hours a week at the rate of $30 until January 31st, 2023?
So motion.
Second. No.
I'd like to make an amendment to the motion.
Joe Makula and,
No, me.
oh, I'm sorry.
Trustee Rosansky.
I know, and then
Trustee
Diane.
Rosansky, and who is second?
Diane.
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 Thank you.
I'd like to make an amendment to the motion. That it read, an extension of Dave Dabrowski's temporary position as interim maintenance specialist. How again? To continue until further notice as deemed by the executive director.
Second.
No. What is it? BKDO. Okay, got it. Are you ready? Please call the roll. I'm watching your pen move.
Are we voting on the original motion or the amended
The
motion?
The
amended.
amended?
Okay.
So, Trustee Keen, I just want to read, so you said to continue until further notice until deemed by director, right?
Yes.
As
Thank you.
deemed by director.
As
right?
deemed,
Is
thank
that what
you.
said? I think so.
Would you read what we're voting on exactly?
Sorry.
Okay, so Trustee Keen added, well, let me read it from the beginning. Move to approve
Speak
the
up, I can't hear
extension.
you.
Put it by,
Move to approve an extension of Dave Dabrowski's temporary position as interim maintenance specialist to continue until further notice as deemed by director.
As
Okay,
deemed-
wait,
As
wait,
deemed
wait.
by the director, is that what it is
Notice
at the end?
as deemed-
yes.
As deemed by
Wait,
the director.
We need to clarify.
Thank you.
Can I read it, please? Please. All right, and maybe I should give this copy to you. All right, so it says, do I have a motion to approve an extension of Dave Dabrowski's temporary position as interim maintenance specialist for up to 18 hours a week at the rate of $30 an hour, as deemed by the director?
I didn't read the number of hours or the number he's paid because that's not in the agenda that I got.
Okay.
So
the
that should not be
reason-
included.
Okay, it has to be included, and the motion that counts is the motion. Please let me
not in the
speak.
agenda.
Please let me speak.
Explain why she's saying it, and then we can argue.
Okay? The reason I'm adding that specific information is because when he was initially hired for this position, this was the motion. So since we're extending the exact same motion, I needed to add that information, and the attorney suggested that I read it correctly if, when it's on the agenda, it's not correct.
Okay,
So
well-
that's why I'm doing
Why
that.
isn't it
It should have
correct
been on the agenda Monday night then. It's not on the agenda, so it should not be included.
Okay, well, that's not the way it goes, though. But
That's the
you
way it
can
goes
vote
that you
no.
want. That's not the right way to do
No,
it.
I'm sorry. I've already conferred with the attorney, and this is his advice.
Well, that's what you're saying. That doesn't mean it actually happened or that he is correct.
Okay, Trustee Keene, I can't help you there.
Then why
can
didn't
help
you
me.
change the agenda?
So that's not, Margaret, that is not what my amendment is.
If you saw this and it wasn't correct, why didn't you change it like
Okay.
you do every other time? for
I
last
questioned
minute?
this after it went out, just in case that it wasn't exactly what it was. And that's how we determined, and after Cindy reviewed the initial request, that it was incorrect. I mean, we could sit here and argue about this and not pass it,
Can I
okay.
ask a question? I'm not arguing, I'm just asking a question. Can I
Go right
please?
ahead.
Thank you. You tend, if I'm not mistaken, to get the agenda and approve whether or not anything can be on the agenda long before we even have any clue what's on the agenda. And it took you until today or even yesterday, because seriously, this could have, if you realized it, been approved by the attorney and put out there for Monday. So what her statement is not incorrect. And she is just making a statement that, you know.
Please do.
That's it. You know, I see the proof of, you know, of each one of your sides, but I also see, you know, not just yours, hers also.
Well, I'd like to know if the attorney knows what was on the agenda, the exact wording.
Okay, the
I mean-
conversation with the attorney was, there is a motion on the agenda, but it does not list the specifics. How do I handle this? He said, when you read the motion at the meeting, you need to correct it. So that's why I'm doing this, and had I noticed this before Monday's deadline, we would have made that change.
Okay.
May I add something here?
Please do.
It would seem that the best way to correct this would, rather than having a correction in the originally listed motion would be to simply propose an amendment that corrects the information. And my proposal would be to propose an amendment that simply says, as according to the terms that were previously set forth, so therefore we don't have to spell out what his salary and his hours are.
That's acceptable,
Yes, I feel it is.
so that's fine.
That's fine.
So is this the second
So
amendment?
this would be my amendment to the amendment.
Okay, so I second that.
Okay, so now we take a vote on the amendment.
The
Okay, but
On the first or the
we
second?
the second.
Are we voting on mine or Becky's?
Or can we combine the two of them?
That's what I'm asking.
Trustee Qadeer, can you read the statement to include the period of time changes? If there isn't a deadline, it's based on the director's decision.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Becky to correct me for her original one, and I'll add my.
Go right ahead.
Okay, thanks. An extension of Dave Dabrowski's temporary position as interim maintenance specialist according to the terms previously set forth until further notice as determined by the director. As deemed by the director.
Do we need a second? I second it.
I already did before.
They're doing a lot of writing. I don't think they're ready yet.
Do you want to read that back to me just to make sure? Sure.
You can read it back to me again.
Actually, why don't you read to me what you have, and then I'll tell you if there's any changes.
Move to approve an extension of Dave Dabrowski's temporary position as interim maintenance specialist according to the terms
Originally set forth.
originally, that's what I'm missing.
Originally set forth. I said
Originally,
previously, but I like
previously.
originally better, so I'll amend it to originally.
Originally, okay, one more time. Originally
Set forth
set forth, thank you.
And until.
and until further notice
And until further notice.
as
Yep.
deemed
I missed it. Okay, by the director.
by the director. Yeah.
So this is the second second amended motion?
Combined.
Okay, so this is what we will take it on.
This is, combined, the two of them combined their motion. So, this is the one we would vote on.
Yes, please.
Trustee Derblick?
Yes.
Trustee Makula?
Yes.
Trustee Rozansky?
Yes.
Trustee Olson?
Yes.
Trustee Keen?
Yes.
Trustee Qadeer?
Yes.
6-0 passes.
Wear a mask.
Yeah, I would appreciate
Number
it.
11, just a reminder, number 11 is other. Just a reminder, other is a time for trustees to make suggestions about items not on the agenda. Other is not for personal comments, personal insults, or questions which will be ruled out of order. Thank you. Trustee McCool.
I have nothing to add onto other.
Okay, Trustee Rozansky.
I guess my other wouldn't be acceptable because of the statement our president just read. However, I feel it's something I would like to request is when a member of the board knows they have issues where they're coughing, sneezing, whatever, they're considerate of our other board members and guests in our audience and wear a mask. I, for one, have a compromised immune system, and it means a lot to me to think that my other board members are considerate of my health. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Olson.
Yes, I just want to mention, I was a little disturbed by the audience today because some of them talked about the contract and how it was being so, they were having such a difficult time. We haven't had an update on the contract procedures or proceedings, not really for a long time. I'd like to know what's going on.
I believe the attorney's working on that because there was I guess it's called a proposal, and there's a lot of work to be done before it can be presented to us. So that's what she's working on now. Cindy, wasn't the meeting just a couple weeks ago or a week ago?
Yes, the unions presented their first economic proposal. So we met with the accountant the other day, the attorney, and I to start costing that proposal. The union has not costed the proposal, so we are working on costing the proposal.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Trustee Keene.
I agree with Trustee Olson. It's unacceptable that we haven't received any information in such a long time, especially if we have moved on to the economic package now. We should have been made aware of that fact, and we should have been able to review what was done prior. So I would expect something before the next meeting.
Okay, Trustee Keene, if I could respond. I have already requested that exact information. I'm not sure how fast we can get it because I said that the board needs to have specific details. I made some suggestions about how we can receive that information because I think it would be most helpful for us to see the documentation, then have a meeting so we can discuss what we've seen. Well, my disagreement was that we have a meeting and we have these bullet points that are presented, and I don't think that's sufficient. So yes, I requested exactly what you asked for. So I spoke to the union attorney, I believe it was last week, and the end of the conversation was she will be working on that.
And I've been requesting this information for months, that because when we went to was it ILA?
ILA.
I'm getting my ILA. I'm getting my initials screwed up here. We sat in a training pertaining to my library is unionizing. And one of the things they stated, when these libraries already have unions, they should be getting quarterly response on what's going on. When you're starting a union, you should get, they said more frequently, updates. Just, hey, we've crossed this off, check, we did this, we did that. Even if they're not showing us the information, it would be nice to have an idea of how things are going. We have not been getting that, and it's frustrating.
That's exactly what I requested.
I understand that. I'm just stating I've been requesting it for months. Thank you very much.
Oh, to whom?
Well, wait,
it doesn't
can I
matter.
just say one more
Sure,
thing?
please do.
I think the problem is that you are asking them for specific things. We want information. If they want to tell, whatever they want to tell us, we would like to hear it.
Anything is
And
better than nothing.
not stifled by what you think we should receive.
Oh, no, I'm not stifling
I'm
anything.
sorry,
I'm
but
just saying the
that has
information
happened.
needs to be provided. Because there are a lot of
I don't need
proposals.
a lot of explanation about bullet points. I would like to see the bullet points. And then we could ask questions about information, more information. And we're not seeing anything. We're not
I know,
getting
I
any
agree.
information.
That's, I brought it up.
Well, that's
So she's
the
working on
problem.
it.
That is the
But
problem.
realistically, my point is, we don't need to pay the attorney to give us all of this information. We have people who work for the library, who sit in these meetings, who represent us. They also can inform us of what has been resolved and so on. We are getting none of that information at this point. And I know you said you requested it. I'm just stating the fact we don't necessarily need to get it from the attorney.
I think the decision on the process is definitely determined by the union attorney, but I'm sure Cindy could share these comments with her.
You mean our union attorney?
Mm-hmm.
The process is,
Trustee Rosansky is requesting that the library staff that attend the meetings share information with us,
Like what has
not the
been, what has
union
been,
attorney.
what you've agreed on and so on. Just simple facts. We don't need to have necessarily the reports, but we'd like to know progress is being made.
right, I think that should be done in executive session. So we need
And
to
that's
schedule
fine.
an executive session
Fine.
or a special meeting.
Continuation of what
It
we
does
did
need to be an
before. I mean,
executive
we
session.
started out with a few meetings, and then all of a sudden, there's been a big void, a long void,
A long void,
I agree.
and we know nothing.
like almost a year.
Can I add a comment?
Oh, please do.
You know, I've been hearing about the union discussions for a long time as a private citizen. Now that I'm a trustee again, just as an attorney, it shouldn't take this long. That's my thought. And I know we have to cross all the Ts and dot all the Is, but we should be very, very certain that we are not allowing, I'm a lawyer, I work for a law firm. I know how these things work. The attorneys make a lot of money on this, and that's money that could be used for programs at the library. That's money that could be used for a lot of other things. That, yes, the documentation has to be finalized, but there is always a critical line at which negotiating, should it be this way or should it be this way, and you're about this far apart, and then it's to the attorney's advantage to try to make sure that, they should come over here, and no, we should get over there. Sometimes it costs you more money to get from here to there than it does to actually just say, okay, fine, you're over here, I'm over here, we'll just split the difference or whatever, let's just get on with it and let's get this done, because the amount of money that's costing me to hammer out the little detail in that fine point is actually more than whatever the benefit I'm going to gain for that point. So I just want to stress, again, not having been in those executive sessions, I don't know the details, but I do want to stress that we should try to make sure that we resolve this expediently, and resolving it expediently means maybe everything's not going to shake out exactly the way we want it to shake out, but that's okay.
Okay.
That's
and
just my general comment. Again, without having seen the details, I can't make any specific recommendations, but I definitely would look forward to seeing what those details are so that I can give, my 2 cents, or I usually never have just 2 cents, so my 10 cents on what I think that we should or should not compromise on. Now, again, that's not my area of the law. I'm not going to say that I'm an expert in that area of the law, but I am an attorney, and I do have a rough idea of how these things work. I've been involved in plenty of negotiations, so I'd like to just assist us to get to the finish line as quickly as we can, because once we get to that finish line, then that big line item on the agenda is going to be gone, and that's money we then have available to, instead of doing 67 programs, we can get back to whatever 130 or whatever that number was. That's what the library is not about, paying a bunch of attorneys to do, to negotiate our finer points of procedure and to negotiate our finer points of union contracts. Yes, those things are important, but we really want to get back to spending what we need to spend on legal services, yes, to make sure all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted, but at the same time, making sure that our spending, the overwhelming majority of it, the attorney fees are just a little blip on the line item, and everything else, the programming, et cetera, that those funds are being redirected in a way that is beneficial to the patrons and the citizens of this district.
All right, thank you. Trustee Qadeer, I just want to assure you the union attorney is not spending time trying to get every little detail agreed upon. I've read most of the counter proposals, and what's happening is if there isn't an agreement, they're moving forward. And actually, that's exactly how we ended up finally receiving a economic proposal, because the non-economic is at a point and they're moving forward. But she is not spending time or utilizing library dollars trying to just get every single detail agreed upon. So you can be assured of that.
Again, I haven't
why
seen,
don't we know
can I
that?
just make one comment? if you don't
Please
mind.
do.
Okay, I haven't seen the details, so I'm not, again, I'm not
We
commenting on the
haven't seen
details.
details
Oh,
either.
I understand that. I understand. I'm just saying that as a general matter, it shouldn't take this long.
Well, they've been negotiating several times, but I also want to remind all the trustees that the counter proposals, every time there's a union meeting, are available for you to review. I've gone to the library numerous times, sat there and read them just to get an idea of what we're even discussing and where they stand. So yes, they are available for you.
I was never informed of that. I had no idea they were available to me.
Well, I asked to see them
Well,
because I know there's a
lucky
union
for you, I would have been
negotiation
here
going on.
looking at them as well. Why did
Okay,
I
well,
not know that?
You can, I don't know, maybe because I have a little experience with union negotiations.
Maybe because you're a micromanager and want to know every darn thing?
But anyway, to all
There's
the
no
trustees.
excuse for
you
that,
can
not
tell-
sharing
We
that
all should've-
information.
I
We
didn't
all
think you
should've
didn't
known
know. I mean,
Well,
you
how
know
would I
more-
know?
Trustee Keen, you know a lot more about this library than I do.
That's right.
Libraries in
frequent it
general, she's a
constantly.
librarian.
There's a good
So I
clip.
don't know what more to say. And let's not make an argument about this. I've heard everyone's comments.
No, I'm not-
And,
I was- we were-
Cindy is making notes, and I'm sure she will accommodate all of our requests. Anything else someone
I'm
would
not
like to
getting,
add?
well, we need to have a meeting about the union. So it can either be a special meeting or it can be an executive session. The documents are available, they're in my office. Copies are not available, but you can come in and read them.
Which we understand because we remember hearing that.
Yeah, I thought you heard that. So as a first contract can take up to a year. We haven't been doing this a year. We've been waiting several months for the economic proposal. We just got it. So, it's a negotiation. We are not holding up negotiations. That's a perception. So,
Okay, just to keep everybody informed, that's all we're looking for.
So I'm not clear then. Are the copies of the counter proposals available to view in your office?
all of the union documents are available in the office.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's nice to know. At least we have some place if we want to get some idea. Thank you.
All right, can I finish my turn at other?
Please do.
Go ahead.
I requested at the end of our last meeting and via email for 4 days in a row to have the collection development policy and the request for reconsideration of library materials added to this meeting. It was refused by the president. So I have copies of it here for everyone to look at. Whether or not you think we're going to get this, it's going to happen, hopefully not sooner rather than later. We need to discuss this and make sure it's adequate and that we agree with it and be ready for it when it does come.
Okay, and Trustee Keene, I would like to address that matter. I emailed you on 12/9 requesting agenda items. The due date for the items was December 14th. I did not get a response from you from my December 9th meeting, so on December 14th, I sent you a reminder.
Who picked that number? All of a sudden, there was
On
an
the Ju-
interesting email that we all got.
Okay,
If
because
you
it's-
want to put something on the agenda,
Mm-hmm.
it said, yeah, you gave us a certain date. Well,
Okay, if
I
you
hadn't
read-
even looked at the,
Okay, my apologies
At the
for,
minutes.
the fact of the matter is, this is how we handle the agenda
Well, that
minutes.
was
It's in
news
the
to me. That
trustee
was news to
manual.
me.
If I could finish
Let her finish,
responding
please.
to Trustee Keene. Okay, my request for agenda items is following the procedure in the trustee manual. And they're due 1 week before the board meeting because that's when we work on the agenda. Trustee Keene did not respond to the 12/9 email. She didn't send me any agenda items with when I emailed her again on the 14th. What you did respond with was a rude and obnoxious request. And you have a tendency to constantly communicate
Okay,
with
but
President
this is
Derblick, can I make a comment here?
and I will not participate.
You're out of order.
I will not
Inappropriate. We don't want to
participate.
hear negative comments.
Well,
Can
you
say
need to
something
understand the
positive?
situation.
You don't want us talking negative about any other
Well, I don't treat
board
you
members.
negatively. And
You
I
just
just
don't
want,
know.
I just
I'm
want
just
Trustee
telling you,
Keene to
don't use the word
understand.
you. Don't use
I
the
want
word
Trustee
you.
Keene to understand
She
that while
understands. Don't be so
communication,
demeaning.
excuse me, if you would let me speak.
No, I'm not going to let you speak if you
Oh,
are
well,
going to
then I will
continue
try to
these
talk over you,
demeaning
and maybe
things.
Trustee Keene and I can get this resolved. I do not participate in behaviors that aren't going to serve our library. I request,
Come
I
on.
request that
Is
you,
it over?
I request that you help me have open communication with you.
This is
All
a
right?
new thing of
The
yours.
fact
call
that you,
this open?
Because you've told us before, oh, the president's never let me put anything on the agenda. Don't. So it was like whenever we tried to, you would shut us down. Now all of a sudden, this last month, you're asking us for agenda ideas. Is
And
this
giving us
because
a
the election is
deadline.
coming and you want your people to be
Patty,
voted?
please spare me your candidacy comments. All right,
Well,
and another
duh.
thing.
It's kind of
Trustee-
obvious. You've been the gentler, kinder president lately.
Trustee Rosansky, you're out of order. Trustee Keene, back to your
What else is new?
request
Patty,
that
you
I
wanna borrow
know
this?
you wanted, which was about
Patty?
the, you know what, I guess this is just total mockery. We could just end the meeting now because we're not going to get anywhere. Regarding your concern about the
Now we
banning
have
of books.
deadlines. Okay.
Can I speak without constantly being
I'm
interrupted?
talking to myself. I'm sorry.
statements afterwards, if we have any.
Okay, one of the issues, Trustee Keene, that you brought up was the collection, was regarding our policy 3.06 for collection development. You also made a statement about some sort of banning and a concern, library materials challenge policy. Okay, I researched library challenge material policies with other libraries and what have you, and I read our collection development policy. We allow for the public to come to the meetings. It says right here in the policy.
Wait, we're
that
not
we-
discussing this now. This is
I need to respond to her. So all I'm trying to say is if you read the collection development
We've read
policy, you will see the different requirements that we are expected to have for any residents who come here that are in disagreement with our collection. There's a procedure that needs to be followed. And as far as
Okay,
this
put
challenge.
this on the agenda, please.
And as far, excuse me, Trustee Olson.
Let her finish.
Put it
And
on the
Trustee
agenda.
Keene, you're concerned,
Let her
and Trustee Keene, you're concerned about the challenge policy. If you look at our collection development
think that she
policy at
didn't?
the bottom, it indicates the exact process that needs to be followed.
Excuse me, we
So I
know
just
that.
wanted to share that with you.
We've read it. We know
Okay.
that.
Can I make a comment, please?
Please,
Oh, yeah,
is he
yeah.
allowed to make a
Are we,
comment?
are
Put
we
this
on?
on the
yes.
agenda if you
Trustee-
want to talk
Trustee
about the
Keene, are
collection
you
policy.
finished?
No,
Okay, no, Trustee Keene's still speaking. Trustee Qadeer?
to respond to that, President Derblick, I didn't ask for an explanation of what the policy is. I know it. I have a copy of it. I have read it. You didn't have to tell me what it says. What I asked for was to have every trustee read it and understand it so that we could discuss it as a group and see if it is appropriate for the time now or whether we need to change it. So everything you just said makes no sense whatsoever because it's not what I asked for. And I have an email here for who anyone would like to see it, FOIA it. It's from December 14th from me to you, explicitly stating what I want to be on the agenda. So I did meet the deadline.
So Trustee Keene, just so that you're aware, after you sent me that rude email, I was finished. I wasn't reading any more of your emails. I
You don't
cannot
get to do
engage.
that.
Yes, I
No, you
cannot
don't.
engage
That's
in
not how it
nonsense.
works.
I have a lot to
Okay.
do.
The game was that you made me send it in via email when I had already asked for it in a month in advance.
Because
that's a game.
I'll be honest with you, there's more to putting an item on the agenda.
And
than
that's why
just-
you had a whole month to do it.
than just talking about it. Well, when you didn't respond to my emails, I couldn't have the dialogue and
So
communication
you could have
necessary.
watched the video. You should have taken
Trustee
notes. You're
Keene,
constantly
you are
writing.
not
Why didn't you write
listening
it
to the
down?
procedure.
The procedure, I don't think is actually in the book, Cindy, is it?
keeps changing.
Are you aware?
It
The
hasn't
agenda
changed since
procedure, I'm a bit
2021.
lost.
Can we move on?
Yeah, is
What
it, does it
procedure?
actually say in the
Policy?
policies that we have to submit a week before via email?
Please check the trustee manual
Let me
in
just
the
check real
bottom.
quick.
We've done it a month before
Yes.
at meetings.
Exactly.
What's the difference?
I'm going to
Doesn't
request, can I make a comment, please?
Let Umair.
Trustee Keene, are you finished?
I have the procedure here. The agenda is required for all meetings. Email requests for agenda items to the board president or the executive director at least 1 week before a board meeting.
So there, I did submit
At
it to you.
least. It says at
You
least.
did not submit it to
I
me.
have it right here. Do you want me to read it?
Trustee Keene, as I said, once you sent that derogatory email, I was done.
That's not okay. You,
Yeah,
as
it
the
is,
president of this
because I will
board,
not take this
you
abuse.
have to take
Done.
into consideration
No.
the requests of the trustees. That's how it works.
Can I have a question?
So if you're not going to fulfill your duty as president, then do what I asked and step down.
If you can't behave like a
Okay.
trustee, I don't know what to tell you.
Stop it. This is
can
enough.
I
I
ask-
want to go home.
Can
I
I?
do too. I do too. Trustee Keene, if you're finished, Trustee Qadeer, I think has a few things to add.
Ay, ay, ay.
Can I comment on this situation now?
Please.
If she's finished, yeah, absolutely.
Are you done, Becky? Yes. Okay. So I want to say that, I appreciate the idea of not getting into bickering, back and forth. And I will second what Trustee Keene is saying here, that regardless of the tone of an email shouldn't be any of the things that President Derblick has accused it of being. But again, regardless of the tone of an email, if a trustee emails something, it is the duty of the president to first acknowledge it and then second consider it if it is in accordance with the trustee manual, number one. Number two, I would request the president not to characterize any emails from any other trustees as X, Y, or Z. That, again, should be a private matter that's not brought up in a board meeting because it unnecessarily creates a tension that doesn't need to be here. So, we sit here, and can I speak freely a little bit about not these subjects? We sit here for, what time is it now?
8:20.
8:20. We're sitting here for 2 hours arguing about meeting minutes, arguing about the wording of clauses, arguing about whether things should be included or discluded. There are substantive things that we need to be discussing about this library to make sure that we have adequate staffing, to make sure that we have adequate programming, to make sure that we have adequate X, Y, and Z. And I simply request all trustees that we figure out, we don't have to like each other. That's not a requirement. But we figure out how we're going to push things forward in a way that allows us to get business done so we don't sit here for 2 hours trying to figure out whether an email was appropriately worded or not. If Becky sent an email, then that email needed to be considered. And again, I am going to reiterate that I agree that an email should be worded in a certain way, but that's not a requirement of the trustee manual. Let's just not go there either way. Let's make sure that whatever needs to be done, if something needs to be considered, it's on the agenda. If something was stated and requested, so for example, I'm going to request right now that we need to address staffing issues right away. And I'm going to request that that be done before the next regular meeting, that we have a special meeting to address the situation of this hiring freeze, because I think that needs to be gone as soon as possible. Now, I'm going to ask for that meeting, and I'm going to ask every single trustee here about their availability next week, because I'd like to get this done as soon as possible.
Trustee Qadeer, you're asking for a special board meeting?
Yes, I am asking for a special board meeting to address this particular issue.
Okay, but can I just, before you get into the next
Okay,
question
sure.
here, or the next comment, I agree that trustees should treat each other with respect, but you need
Okay.
to understand as well, if I'm checking my email and the
Okay,
response is you're
stop.
not getting an answer, I moved on to other things. The deadline had passed. So it's not that I'm not fulfilling my duty. I can only take so many emails that are not getting me anywhere. They're just abusive.
All I'm saying,
So
all
I
I'm
hear
saying,
what you're
Wait,
saying,
discuss
but you're
this.
not in this situation to understand.
I don't wanna
how
hear
often-
your
How often
problems.
this occurs. And there comes a time when I move forward, the deadline was passed,
Good
and
for
that was
you.
it.
I don't want to hear
but
this.
But
Can
I understand what you're saying, and I will consider, what everyone does. I take a lot of abuse during a meeting, I can take it at home, but sometimes deadlines come and go, and I move forward to other issues in the library.
can
So
I,
let's try as a group to utilize our time to value the other people, and I think communicating with each other will be much better.
so are you finished? I just want to make sure that I'm not cutting you off.
No, not at all.
Okay, so my response to that is that if there is a deadline on the 14th, that you should be checking on the morning of the 15th to see what came in. Because if it had to be 1 week before, again, I'm speaking from my experience as an attorney. If I file something at 11:59 p.m., it is on time. That's legally speaking. So if you check it at 12:01, if you're not awake at 12:01, no problem. Check it the next morning. But it should be checked after that deadline for submission has passed.
Trustee Qadeer, thank you for your input.
You're welcome.
Okay, next.
Can I make a request now? Just a simple?
You
Just
can
a
say whatever
simple-
you want.
I request that this, that was brought before us, be put on next month's agenda, because I do believe it needs to be gone over so we all are clear with the policy. And let's face it, community libraries not far from us have been dealing with this situation. So the likelihood of this coming to us someday, it might. We need to be prepared. We don't want to go walking around with blinders.
I agree with, can I add to that?
Go as far, it's up to her.
Go right ahead.
President Derville, can I add to that?
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, so I want to say that I'm familiar with people who live in some of those communities where these issues have come up and where there have been very contentious debates at libraries. And so I would like to add very vociferously that this needs to be on the agenda, and it needs to be on the agenda right away, because we need to have a policy so that we don't have shouting matches at the next trustee meeting of people who do or don't consider, material, so that we have a very well-defined policy. Sorry, turned my mic off accidentally. No, that we have a very well-defined policy regarding this subject. Whatever that policy is, whatever the 7 members of the board agree upon, that policy needs to be clarified and determined whether if this one is appropriate or not. I think we need to make that determination, and we need to do it ASAP.
Illinois law has an extensive pages. I think there's 60 pages written on that subject in Illinois law, and I think that's what we should follow as far as, and I think this policy is based on that.
Trustee McCullough, if you don't mind sharing what statute that is, I'd be happy to take a look at it.
I think it's 75 ILCS, I don't know, 40 lines, something or other. You can just look it up on the internet and you'll see it. There's about 50 or 60 pages pertaining to that we have to follow.
And these, our policy now does follow the Illinois policy.
I didn't match the two
But
together,
the districts have their own,
you can't supersede Illinois law, though. Yeah.
There may be a discretionary allowance within the law. Often statutes are written very open-endedly, specifically to allow local considerations to take precedence. And my question is not whether this is correct or incorrect. I have no idea. I'm getting this for the first time from Becky Wright at this meeting. My proposal is simply that we need to talk about it and we need to figure something out. It's not that this is right or this is wrong. It's just, let's address it. That's my only question.
well, excuse me, can I say something?
Go ahead.
It is our job as a school board to review the policies on a regular basis. This is just one policy out of the many.
Library board.
Library board, yeah, that's right.
Well, I understood.
Oh, I'm sorry,
your comment.
I didn't mean it that
No,
way.
I did.
No, it is,
Yeah, this is our job, and we haven't reviewed our policy about this since I've been on the board, so.
Well, I think for the past 8 years, reviewing policy was not something we did on a regular basis, but it is something that's supposed to be done every 2 years, and 2 years is up probably around election time. So it would probably be a good time, once this board changes, that all of these things are done, because the new boards will be responsible for going forward with whatever decisions are made.
We can start
Many of
now.
us
We have
won't
to
be
start
here.
somewhere. We should have,
But I
if we,
think our
if
policy
we
is
have,
adequate for now.
you're being asked to put it on the agenda.
4 trustees are
What's so
requesting this to be
hard?
on the agenda. Let's
What's so
officially
hard
consider it on the
about that?
agenda for next month.
Okay, well,
have to start somewhere.
officially, because everyone wants it on the agenda, isn't a discussion that we need to get into. I heard you want it on the agenda, and we'll move forward.
So we'll see next
So, and
month
this
if it's
is
on.
for
So
the
don't ask us the week before to resubmit this request.
Okay, and Trustee Keene, what I need from you, since I guess you're the one who's initiating this, I need you to send me what your agenda item states.
The actual wording of the agenda item?
And I don't want to hear you yell it out in the meeting, and I'm going to go home and watch the
Excuse me,
video. Please just send me an email.
Review and discussion of collection development and book challenge banning. It's right here. You have it. I'm not going to send it again.
Thank you for your cooperation. Okay, are we finished with this topic?
Put it on the
think so.
agenda.
Okay.
Thank you. I second.
Margaret, would you mind adding that to the notes for this meeting? For the, sorry.
you want
for
me
the-
to read it again,
The minutes
Margaret?
for this meeting.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
As soon
Review and
as we get
discussion of
this done.
collection development and book challenges banning. And now everyone has it, so you can review it before next month.
Thank you.
My request for a special meeting regarding the hiring policy is still on the table.
Okay, well, you don't have the authority to schedule a special meeting?
If there are four votes in favor, there are. So
No,
that's what I'm
you
asking
don't, you
for.
do not schedule, no.
Yes, if
The
there's
on-
4 of us,
the
you did it when
only-
it was 4 of you.
No, never.
not
And you
on the
didn't care
agenda.
if we could
Stop.
all come. No, it's a fact. Do we
Okay.
need to go back and review minutes on meetings?
No, you need
Excuse
to go
me.
back and review the procedure of the officers of the board.
Okay.
Well, I'm vice
Well-
president. I'm one officer.
One
And
moment.
we have a majority.
The officers who schedule meetings are the president and the secretary.
Okay, fine.
Okay, if I could just direct you to the bylaws. The bylaws, number 6, organization meetings. D, special meetings may be called by the president or the secretary or by any 4 trustees.
Duh.
Any board trustee.
Yeah.
4 trustees.
And how
we
are
have
they
4.
can be called, but then how are they scheduled?
Well, that's not in the Bible.
How did you schedule it, Precious?
So you need to see the wording under the responsibilities of the officers.
Since
There's the
I am
president
the
and the
vice president,
secretary.
I could be in charge of running the meeting.
There's more details.
Well,
We could certainly
President Derlick?
review this, and I could send out an email and see who's available when, and we can move
it's the
forward.
27th.
What the, when,
Oh, I'm
The reason I
sorry,
brought that
you-
issue-
You all have to pick, what's available.
The reason I brought that issue up today is I wanted to make sure that, all the trustees who are present today and anyone watching is aware of at least my concern about this issue and is aware that I would like to try to address this issue as soon as possible.
And it is,
wanna
And
do it
therefore,
next week.
hold on, can I finish?
Well, I don't understand what issue you're
Well,
talking
that's
about.
The
because
issue
you're
is,
not listening.
the issue is to lift the current hiring freeze.
Oh, you're talking about hiring freeze.
Yeah, so
Okay,
I would
thank you.
like to address that before the next meeting, and therefore I'd like to request a special meeting if there, and so I hadn't gotten to that part yet. If there are 3 other trustees who are in support of that, then I would ask that we take care of that right now so that there doesn't have to be an email exchange thereafter.
I
That's my request.
Well, first of all, we need to check the positions of the officers, because I believe there's a different explanation how this is
She
handled.
just read.
I second it. I'm in.
She just read the
Let's go.
explanation.
I know. She read bylaws about who can
Nobody
bring
can
up
change
a
the
meeting.
bylaws.
The duties of the officers are also in the bylaws.
And they say,
This says, "The president of the board shall preside at all meetings of the board and may vote on motions before the board. He or she may sign such documents on behalf of the board as required, shall appoint committee members as required to carry out specific duties, authorize calls for special meetings, and generally perform the duty of a presiding officer."
okay.
So you
and
can
then-
authorize a meeting, but you're not the only one that can authorize a
I'm
meeting.
sorry, what does it say?
Says you can authorize a special meeting, but you're not the only one that can authorize a special.
Okay, and then what does it say under the position of secretary?
Secretary, the secretary shall keep accurate records of all board business. The secretary shall also serve as clerk of elections.
Oh, here
The
it is.
secretary may delegate duties, but shall retain final responsibility. The secretary's responsibility shall include certifying and submission of reports, ordinance, etc., as required by law. Section 2 of the bylaws. Number 8.
Yeah, and then the next
F.
part that she isn't hearing, which is about a majority can also call a meeting.
Can you read that?
Yeah, Cindy, yeah, why don't you go ahead and
Make
repeat
sure you
that?
speak close to the microphone so they can hear it.
All right, just a moment. 6D, special meetings may be called by the president or the secretary or by any 4 trustees.
Period.
Period.
Okay, got it.
So I'm requesting now, I'll make the request again, President Derblick, is the procedure clear? I mean, again, just having
Well,
joined as a
From
trustee.
what I'm hearing, that's what it says. Of course, I'm not typing
Okay,
it, but I
so
hear it.
I would like to request a special meeting, and I'd preferably like to do this before the end of the year so that we can then address whatever dearth we have in terms of staffing as soon as possible, starting with the beginning of the year. That's my request. And so I'm going to ask in public forum again, if there are 3 additional trustees who support that, then we can,
Yes.
proceed.
Okay,
That's my request.
well, you have to remember, we're in the middle of a holiday season, and many of us are busy, so yes, that would mean we have 1 week.
Yeah, understood.
Okay.
understood. That's why I wanted to ask it as soon as possible, as
Okay,
soon as I was
yes,
sworn in.
I'm available, what day?
The only day
Even
next
if I'm
week I am
not, I will
unavailable is the 28th. So I can meet
What day is that?
the 28th is Wednesday. I'm unavailable, but I can be available. I mean, I assume people don't want to meet on the 26th right after Christmas. It's a holiday. I can be available on the 27th or 29th as at least three additional board members can be available.
27th is fine with me.
What day of the week is that?
That's next Tuesday.
Tuesday is
And
fine.
that announcement would then go out tomorrow morning to give enough time. And the agenda, again, the only item that I want to make sure is on the agenda is, this question of hiring. And then any additional items that can be discussed can be sorted out by email and before the agenda goes out tomorrow morning.
Wait a minute, you're expecting the agenda to go out tomorrow morning?
Yes.
I'm expecting just one item, literally one item on the
But you
agenda.
said something about other items can be discussed in email. What does that mean?
So in other words, if you say, okay, well, if you want anything else on this agenda, you email out and say, tell me by midnight or something like that, whatever you want to do. That's what I'm asking. I'm just asking for one item on the
Trustee
agenda, but I'm not
Qadeer,
trying to monopolize
When are
it.
you asking for this meeting to be scheduled?
I'm asking for this meeting to be scheduled next week if possible. If
Okay,
there are
I
enough.
know. Did we put
Tuesday,
the
the
date?
27th.
So Tuesday the 27th is what was seconded. So I'm fine with that.
Okay, the library is closed on Monday.
Correct.
It's closed on Friday.
So that's why it has to go out tomorrow, Precious.
Actually, no, then it can't because then it's not 48 business hours,
No,
correct?
it's not.
Okay,
Oh,
so
it's not
Tuesday is
business
out
hours.
then. So it'd have to be Thursday the.
Why don't we look at it into the next year?
No.
First
No.
week of the year.
We've already stated, we have waited over a year and a half, and when you put it on the agenda and you bring up each department and you say, oh, we have a hiring freeze.
So what's the date that we're talking about here?
So my request is Thursday, the 29th. If there is a different date, if Thursday, the 29th does not work for at least 4 trustees, then we can say, what's the next day the library's open, Cindy? 30th is a Friday, I assume that's.
29th is a Thursday.
Yeah, 29th is a Thursday.
Thursday is good for me.
Thursday's
Okay,
fine with me.
Yeah,
with
it doesn't
Becky.
work for Becky, and
No.
Would Friday work for you, Beck?
The library's closed on Friday next week.
Friday the
isn't it?
30th? Okay, then it will have to be.
It's a crazy week.
Then it will have to be the following week.
Hang on, I am confused about the business hours. Is the business hours of the library or business hours in general? Do we really have to
Yeah.
get?
I'm not,
Business hours
yeah,
in the
I don't
library.
either. I don't think
Excuse
that,
me, Joe, you're not an
not
attorney,
asking you,
thank
Joe.
you.
I'm not so sure that we have to have business hours.
I think we can post the agenda tomorrow and it would be fine.
Well,
For Tuesday?
It has to be 48 hours before the day, so if you're not picking
Right.
Tuesday, what day are you picking?
No, so if we pick Tuesday and post it tomorrow, there's no problem with 48 hours.
The library's
Yes,
not
there
open
is.
48 hours before the
But
date.
what I'm
It does-
saying is it doesn't matter
It
about the
doesn't have to be
library being
open
open. It's
if the
business
agenda
as
is
usual.
posted.
it's
The
still
library doesn't
legally-
have to be
So the
open.
Those are all
weekends-
considered
So
holidays.
the weekends,
No, they're not.
What did you say?
Yeah, Monday's the only federal holiday involved, so I don't know how this,
Friday's not a holiday?
Friday's not a federal holiday.
Friday's
no.
not a holiday, we're just
Oh.
closed.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not a holiday.
So that would be
So if
Friday
Tuesday the
and-
27th works, then
Yes.
that
Okay,
works for me. If
Tuesday
that-
the
If that's valid,
27th.
then that's what I would propose.
So where are we at now? What date?
Tuesday, the 27th.
Tuesday, the 27th.
And I feel the policy, sorry, I don't have it in front of me right now for the
Not
number.
Thursday.
I have it.
Okay. The policy related to hiring should also be on the agenda if we are addressing the hiring freeze,
4.02.
4.02. And it should be on there and stated, it goes back to the way it used to be because of the way it is now is why we don't have the person in the maintenance that we almost had.
Could somebody please take the time and email the agenda item?
Yeah, I'm happy to do
Cindy?
that. I'm happy to do
That would be
that.
really nice instead of her trying to figure out what
So
we're all
we email
yelling
it to
about.
Cindy tonight? Is that what you're asking?
Well, she
Well,
needs to put,
To Carolyn and I, because we're not changing the trustee manual. So
Right.
let's not have any loopholes here.
Okay.
So both of us, you need to email the agenda to.
Yeah, sure,
And it is
absolutely.
still subject to the president's approval.
Excuse me, is there a policy that states it's on the approval of the majority of the board? Because if we, as the majority, say we want something and all of a sudden decide she doesn't, then we can just throw whatever we want as the majority out the window?
That's the trustee manual.
It's
in the trustee
And that
manual.
it doesn't state the be-all and end-all is the president, it says her approval. That doesn't mean she can change something the majority wants.
The director shall prepare the agenda for each meeting with the approval of the president.
Or
With
the
the
4
approval.
members of the board that are calling the meeting.
What doesn't say that? She
Well,
asked me what it
you could
said.
interpret it that way.
So if we call a meeting.
You might want to do that.
And Her Majesty decides she doesn't like what we're calling the meeting for, it's going to be a wasted meeting?
No.
Because we're we're the quorum. So what we say
So what,
should be on the agenda.
what goes on the agenda in the case the president doesn't approve the agenda? That's
Nothing.
the question.
That's it. If she says no, it's no.
if we could please get an email to Cindy and I about the agenda item.
I will send that email. I'm just
Okay,
asking what the
But then I
procedures
have
are.
another
That-
question.
that's
You
all.
mentioned
Yeah.
if there are any other items, you would handle that through email. What, are there going to be more
I'm just,
later?
I'm asking anyone here to express any interest in putting any other items on the agenda. That's
No.
what I was trying to say, and
Oh,
it didn't
okay.
come off properly.
Gotcha.
So what I'm saying is it can all go into one email. I'm happy to
Yes,
prepare that email.
absolutely, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so let's get that email out so I understand.
Yeah, I'm happy to get that email out. That's no problem.
Who
Okay,
does
now,
that?
and back to the date is Tuesday, 12/27, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
All right, thanks.
Correct.
Yeah, so I'm going to verify that the 48 hours will work for the 27th.
Thank you.
Thanks,
So there's
appreciate it.
no problem with that. And then,
And can you also,
6:30?
if you don't mind, verify
6:30.
the agenda procedure?
well, I don't know where to verify that except in the documents. There's
Okay,
no
fair enough.
So
further.
that's something we can address with the new board as far as setting it down so that one person doesn't dictate everything.
That's in the bylaws, right?
That's in the trustee manual.
We can, that's something.
Yeah, but is it the bylaw?
Is it
Because
the bylaw or is it a policy is what she's
It's two
asking?
different things. One needs a majority.
Yes,
Oh, the bylaws need 5
Yes.
to change.
To change, right.
Are we convinced now, or is this, I mean, we're finished. We have one item we think is going on the agenda.
Two.
Changes?
No, Patty asked for one more.
Okay, so please, this email that you're sending to me and Cindy, just
Yeah.
make sure.
No, I will.
All right, thank you.
I'll get it. I don't want to waste any more time on this. I'm just saying
Thank
that
you.
No, I
I'll
just
send an
want to
email.
make sure that I get what I need.
Yep,
Okay,
I'll send you an email.
thank you.
So it's policy 4.02 and the hiring freeze.
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, are there any other comments, questions?
Are we
6:30.
Here, time, 6:30, okay.
Yeah.
Upstairs,
Regular board meeting?
Boardroom,
regular boardroom, right?
can we?
That'd be
do
great.
Wherever. Doesn't matter to me.
Well, yeah, I can't check the calendar here, but I'll check availability. So this
If
Thursday, right? Where are we
No,
at? Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Okay.
the 27th.
Okay, if that's it, do I have a motion to adjourn the regular board meeting of December 25th, 2022?
So moved.
So,
I so
second.
moved.
All right, who seconded it?
I don't care, give it to
Okay,
Umair.
Qadeer.
I second it. Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you. Okay. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I would like to wish our staff and their families, along with all of our patrons, a very happy and healthy holiday season. Margaret, please call the roll.
Thank you. Trustee Drblik?
Yes.
Trustee Makula?
Yes.
Trustee Rozansky?
Yes.
Trustee Olson?
Yes.
Trustee Keen?
Yes.
Trustee Qadeer?
Yes.
6-0.
The meeting